weeks. This one is for all the freaks with a unique reek, too meek to speak. This one's for you! If you know how many settings there are.
Dude, Halloween is especially when it was Matthew, Adam, and I. We were all roommates. Halloween was pretty. It's like right up there with Christmas.
It's a very important holiday to my people.
Yeah, exactly. Nerd. And dude, Adam, I don't know if you have seen, but Adam is an amazing cosplay maker.
Right.
He does.
Let's take a moment and address that. I'm going to be at WindyCon. Our little costuming group is also the costuming guest of honor at that, and so I'm sure I'm going to have to address this point of the term cosplay, which I've been doing this for a lot longer than that term was in use.
That is correct.
But my thinking is that what I do isn't what I thought cosplay was. Like, I make costumes and wear them around at cons, but I thought that was just costuming, as opposed to when you're my understanding was that cosplay, when it was originally conceived, was people playing in character as the people that they were dressed as. And,
players.
Yeah, cosplaying as opposed to just costuming. Like, we compete in costume contests, but we're not like trying to get inside the heads of the characters or anything.
Right. I think that I can see where you would think that, but from what I've experienced, and because my daughter is so into it, and I've seen how all these kids, they all seem like kids to me, are doing it, and it's basically it is what you're saying. It is what you do. It's just costuming. They just put.
Here's what I would say: the term cosplay got watered down, and now just means costuming.
Correct.
Is what
it
I've
means the
noticed,
same. Correct.
Right.
It means the same. It the what do you call it? The furries. Now that's
different.
That's costuming. That it's like you're saying, like that they dress, like some giant puffy wolf and act like a wolf, and they want to shit on the floor like a wolf or whatever. It's pretty
And
out
they're
there.
hungry like the wolf.
And I like to hunt.
Well, they definitely want to have bunches and bunches of sex like wolves.
Apparently, why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Hey, God bless them, man. That's furries make cons fun.
Yeah.
Furry, I guess, is the
furry.
Yeah. As we actually made a point of that in our song "Welcome to the Con" to pluralize them correctly.
Yeah. They go ahead.
The plural of furry is furry, and the plural of dorsi is dorsi.
Right.
Plural of sheep is sheep.
Yeah, and deer. So I was gonna tell Chad about all the costumes that you've made, and I saw the fly one is probably the most impressive costume I have ever seen in my life. And
well, thank you. We'll have that at WindyCon.
Please, Chad, you gotta.
I want pictures.
I'll show it to you. Hopefully I'll post it. Oh, he just dropped out.
No, I'm here.
You just hit the video or something?
Yeah, no, it's
phone call coming in.
So yeah, somebody I got a call from someone who wants to know who I'm voting for, probably.
Asshole.
Just tell them that I'm voting for the person that they don't want me to vote for. Which could be anyone.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
My problem is I'll get into a conversation with them. I actually have started volunteering at the polling places and stuff like that. So yeah, I've officially become an old man that's interested in politics and whatnot.
You actually care.
Yeah,
it's all
good.
That's
the problem.
So I was gonna mention the Sandman costume that you helped me make for Halloween way back when. Adam went out as.
I remember that,
dude.
Was there any pictures of it?
Yeah, there were pictures, but I think my ex has them. and I haven't talked to her, and I have no intention of
Nor would I recommend you do.
ever talk to her. But dude, I looked. It was the coolest because I had really long hair, so you made, my hair stick out like Sandman,
Up your
and
hair, yeah.
yeah, and you dressed as the Wolfman, and Chad, he made everything from scratch, like just everything you can possibly imagine, and dude looked just like a Wolfman. And it was all just completely, cardboard and freaking glue and gum and whatever, you know what I mean? And that's really impressive to
Yeah,
me.
you mean
Dude.
this Wolfman?
Dude.
Oh man.
That was I have made, I want to say, 4 different Wolfman costumes. This here was my 5th grade werewolf costume. When I was in 5th grade, my mother sewed this.
Dude,
thing
you
for
still
me,
have
and
it.
as you can see, it's a like a hood that
Right.
goes, and it's got like ears on it there. I don't know how well you can see,
And you get to stay warm.
yeah, and then the face was done with makeup, and that was my first werewolf. And my second werewolf was actually probably the best one I ever did, which was it was a mostly just makeup job. I did the Wolfman from the movie The Wolfman,
Sure.
and I had made a wig using the brown bag Frankenstein method. Which we mentioned on the last podcast, as I recall.
Mhm.
It's like you basically tape a paper bag to your head and cut
Right.
it out and sculpt it to make it into a Frankenstein head or whatever. And I did a werewolf, like a werewolf wig basically, and I glued hair to it from wigs that I had cut up.
Oh.
And
Dude, it's so
then
impressive.
but then this was my freshman year of college, and what I did was I actually I didn't have any spirit gum, so I used rubber cement, and I put rubber cement all over my face and put the glue all over my face.
That's why he has
And
no hair
remember,
in his
as I
head
was
That's why he's
getting ready
bald.
to leave, as I was getting ready to leave, I was thinking, I was about time to put the wig on, and I was thinking, man, this looks so good. I don't even know if I want to wear the wig because it just looked so cool without it.
Right.
And then one of my classmates said, man, you should just leave the wig off because it looks so good this way. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just put the wig on and see. And I put on the wig, and everybody in the room was like, "Whoa!"
What the-
it like all of a sudden it made the whole thing like work, and it totally was. But I have some pictures of that costume, but none of that costume still exists.
Please send me
That's the
some.
problem
So,
with building stuff out of paper bags.
if I can get pictures of all that stuff, I really, really appreciate it because people need to see, man. I keep telling them, like I was telling Grace this, I'm like, oh, Adam is an amazing costumer or cosplayer, and she's like,
One of
and she
those.
doesn't get, yeah, she doesn't. She'll be like, oh yeah, of course. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Just
Look,
dismissing it.
yeah, look at this.
Whatever.
I showed her the fly costume, and
Right.
her jaw dropped. She's like, he didn't make this. I'm like, he absolutely did. I've seen him do it, and I don't. It's like magic to me. I don't know how he did it, but I absolutely did. And that's, to me, it's really cool. Especially she started doing it, and she'll work with Alisa on making stuff, but most of the time she'll buy it from somebody that made it, and it's like, homemade stuff, but she'll spend her own money. And when she first started doing it, I gotta tell you, I was a little judgy, because I'm like, well, that from my experience, I lived with Adam, and that's how you do it. You freaking
Right.
go in the garbage can.
Well-
you go take shit out of there and make it.
Yeah, you know what though? That's kind of changed. Back then, a store-bought costume was.
Oh, it was crap. It
remember
wasn't
the
that
stuff
very
when
good.
we were kids, man. It was very poor quality, and like a store-bought costume. I used to feel so sorry for the other kids whose mother wouldn't sew them. Like the same year I went as Superman, my best friend Richie Funky went as Superman too, and he had a store-bought costume, and his poor parents had given him like a domino mask to wear it with it or something, and it was a store-bought costume with like a, that's got a plastic mask that looks like, it was so stupid. And my mom actually made me a Superman costume and a Batman costume, you know, like and the Hulk. I mean, you know, my mom went crazy, man.
So,
but here's the thing. Now there are really good costumes out there, and a couple points I want to make about that. One is that you know, how much of the costume are you really gonna make? Like, you know, I know costumers that will tell you that you shouldn't really get full credit for your costume because you didn't like actually sew like the pants
buttons,
or whatever.
yeah.
You know, you didn't
Those are
actually
like costume
get out a
Nazis.
sewing machine and make those pants out of fabric. And then I'm sure there are people at like, you know, Renaissance fairs that'll tell those people they're not doing it.
You didn't make your own fabric.
Like, make it from a loom. You know, they didn't like make their own fabric. Like, I'm not interested in learning how to, you know, sew pieces of fabric together to make a pair of pants. I can get on Amazon and have those pants at my house tomorrow.
Exactly.
So, like, and some of my best costumes, we just made a Superman costume just a few weeks ago. We made a Superman costume that is top notch. And it's made out of a Superman costume, largely. Like, we bought a Superman costume that we saw it, and you know, we saw it at like it might have been a garage sale or something, and we were like, man, this is pretty good. And it's got a you know, it's got the muscle shirt top, but the problem with the outfit was that it was a one piece, so it's got that problem that one pieces have, where like, you know,
camel toe.
The crotch is like hanging down, you know,
Yeah.
and the you know, feet are flopping off or whatever. So we had used that costume when we ran the superhero 5K this year, which I won, actually, I should say, not the race, the costume contest. We were working for the local science fiction convention, so we all showed up to the superhero 5K where everyone shows up dressed as superheroes, but we were dressed as supervillains. And we passed out flyers for the science fiction convention.
Nice.
And,
Very nice.
Yeah, and
were you Lex Luthor?
I was Lex Luthor, and I won it. But Lyle was Bizarro Superman #1. And so we took the Superman costume, and what we did was we cut the trunks of it out, cut it off so it was just a shirt now, and we both replaced like my Lex Luthor costume instead of the, you know, it's like the Justice League, like Super Friends one with the purple and green costume with the big triangular collar. And instead of the tights and boots that I usually wear with it, I wore like really short running shorts and brightly colored running shoes. You know, that were purple and green also.
It looked pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then Lyle did the same thing with Bizarro Superman #1. We cut the trunks off of the Superman costume, and he just got like really short red running shorts. And but so then we remade the Superman costume I just ordered you know, a pair of tights online and a pair of trunks online, which I think together cost $20 maybe plus shipping. I don't know, you know.
Wow.
And you know, and did I make those trunks? I did not.
Of
I
course
didn't even
not.
make the Superman shirt. I did. We like, you know, took the cape off of it and reattached it because I didn't like how the cape was attached. I created a belt. I bought a belt which I painted yellow with house paint, which turns out to be the only way I could figure out how to paint a belt yellow. And I bought a superhero belt buckle, which Superman belt buckle, which again I bought a Superman belt buckle.
Yeah, you can get that at
You
Spencer's.
didn't smelt the metal?
Yeah.
Pardon me? No, I
You
did
didn't
not
find the metal?
smelt it.
Come
You know,
on.
I did not, you know, like build a
You're not doing it
foundry
justice.
and, you know, but so, like I say, superhero costumes are, you know, a lot of cosplay. If you start with a store-bought costume, you know, that's a great way to approach it. We did, we won a bunch of awards last year with, I made for my wife a Maleficent costume. And, you know, we started with a store-bought Maleficent costume that had the robe just right. But I actually chose to, a lot of times, you know, you're faced when you're doing costuming, you're faced with a decision as to whether you're going to go for like the movie or like the comic book or whatever, or in this case, the Disney cartoon.
Right.
And I often choose to do a hybrid of the two. And so I noticed that in the Disney cartoon, Maleficent definitely has a double collar. She's got like, you know, this great big outer collar that goes way up here.
Sure.
And then inside it, there's a smaller, skinnier collar that comes up. And the Maleficent costume, I chose to buy it because I noted that the inside of the collar was, the inside of the collar looked like, or the collar on the costume looked like the inside of that cartoon collar. So I built, like a shoulder piece that goes down over her shoulders and has
a bigger one.
A big outside thing on that, and the other one goes up inside it. But again, started with a Maleficent costume. The horns that we used, I had 3 sets of horns by the time we were done. I often I'll make an Aquaman costume, and when we're done, we have 7 Aquaman belts because I took a bunch of swings at it.
Couldn't get it quite right.
Yeah, well, or like what happens with the Aquaman belts? It's just we keep getting cool new stuff to make belts out of. We'll come across this amazing. We came across this amazing stretchy belt that's like gold sequins, so it looks just like scales. It's just like Aquaman, and we already had like 3 cool Aquaman belts, but we're like, well, at WindyCon, we're gonna do one of our workshops that we're doing is called belts, buckles, and bandoliers or something like that, and it's making costumes out of shit that you find around your house.
And it's easy. I mean, anywhere from a blanket or a sheet over your head. That's which was what we used to do in Puerto Rico. Weirdly enough, I don't know if I told you, in Puerto Rico we have 2 days for Halloween. We actually have the 31st and we do November 1st. And November 1st is actually Day of the Dead. And it is so freaking creepy because everybody goes around with spoons, and they click the spoons and ask for candles. Ooh. And so you're pitch black outside, and all you hear is a click, 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 and it's like, dude, it sounds like freaking skeletons are roaming the countryside, and they're about to get you.
What?
And as you go, you ask for candles, and so Halloween, you ask for, you get asked for and get candy, or it might be the 31st. That you ask for candles, and then Halloween is the next one, and then that's where you do candy. Yeah, I think it is, because then on the 1st, which is Day of the Dead, you actually light candles for the dead. That's why they give you candles. And I'm telling you, I never experienced that here, how actually creepy it was. And when you see some guy with a sheet over him, and you hear this clanking all over the place, it gets scary. It's a little spooky, man. I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you. Yeah, we used to love doing that stuff, man.
Yeah, I definitely Halloween, man. This year it's funny how I feel like I really have let it slide by. Well, I can't say that now. We had a really successful night the other night. We went. They had an event here called it was a Harry Potter themed rave. It was called the Rave That Must Not Be Named.
Did you see that, Chad? I posted a picture of it on the Ookla side. It's got Hagrid and Adam as Malfoy. You gotta check it out.
There were 5 of us there from the Nerd Circus that night, and now my wife had a McGonagall costume that she actually had made before we met. We gave it a couple of upgrades, and I bought her a wand.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, well, she actually was going to be. The last several years, I've provided her with increasingly impressive costumes to go to school with every year, to where they, so super expect something crazy. But this year, with all this preparation for the con, and we were in that musical, that just wrapped or so forth, and we just decided this year to not make new costumes for Halloween. And then we got invited to this Harry Potter thing.
So we're making new costumes.
Making a bunch of Harry Potter costumes. We did, because Joanne had McGonagall. And it was a real top-notch McGonagall. And I had at EerieCon this year, I found a time turner that I bought for her, so she added that to the costume. And nice. I bought her the correct wand for McGonagall online. And
Lyle's was amazing, though.
Yeah, and Lyle's was crazy. Lyle won as Hagrid, and we made the costume the afternoon of the con, or of the party, and. He wound up having to buy the brown wig, but we had the beard, the gigantic fur coat that he had. Yeah. I usually have 2 of those. He got to pick between because we make one time I made a bunch of dwarf costumes. Long story, but Dungeons and Dragons related story where I showed up for a Dungeons and Dragons party dressed as dwarves. There were 4 of us, so I have a bunch of those. So we use those. Okay, am I still with you here?
Yeah, you're here.
Good.
You left there for a second. You're good.
So anyway, we went to this party the other night, and I made a Lucius Malfoy costume. Ooh. And I went to the Halloween store and found the right wig, and I really lucked out and found the right wig, because if you don't have the right wig, you don't have the costume.
Yeah, that's mainly that's how you can recognize it. If not, you're just a long-haired freak. You know what I mean?
It's got to be the right kind of long hair. You know what I mean? But I really found the right wig, and it looked great. And I bought I don't have enough freaking robes and capes, but I bought the right kind of wizard robe that has those. They've got the little pointy sleeves for the Hogwarts robes, and I found that at they had like a knockoff one for $20 or something at the Spirit store, and I made a. Well, I'll go ahead and show it to you, even though I made a prop. It was the last thing I made before I went to bed the night before the party, and I wasn't going to have any time on the day of. So I made Lucius Malfoy has a snake-headed cane.
Yes,
that's badass.
It's the sculpt was pretty good, but the application didn't come out. I use for something like this, I cover it with Plasti Dip, the spray, the aerosol can version of the, and it's made out of tape and wire, but the Plasti Dip covers the tape, so you can't tell it's tape unless you only use one layer of it, and then you can totally tell it's tape. But I didn't have time, and I only used one layer. But note that I used. I finally figured out over the years the correct paint to use to get a good, use the wrong paint and it doesn't adhere,
Flakes off.
Not even flakes off. It doesn't even cover when you spray it on there.
It doesn't stick. No matter it just kind of runs right off. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But this is the right, for going over the Plasti Dip. This is the right, But it was like a C-, but it still was.
I think it's too hard on yourself.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thoroughly won that.
I was gonna say you go to a bar.
A C-. I'm saying it a little hard. I'm saying it should be at least a C+.
Okay.
I say B+, because when you show up at a bar and you're dressed the way you are, and everybody's half drunk, everybody will freaking lose their minds.
They're not gonna
and that's an A+ for what you were doing. I guess it could be an A+ or A- for the bar. It could be for your own. You know what I mean? For your own, totally. Yeah, it's a C-. But for the bar, for the thing that you were doing, yeah, it's definitely an A+.
A+.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to do is go to a con and get like 9 of my friends all together, and wherever the con is, and we all go in as Team Fortress 2.
I haven't
from the
played
orange box.
Yet. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the costumes are so awesome. I mean, and they're simple. And if you could sit there and build like the heavy gunner is the big guy, and he has a giant Gatling gun he runs around with. If you could like hand make one of those, out of cardboard, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think it would look cool as shit that everyone's dressed up as Team Fortress.
Yeah, definitely.
Team Fortress. Now I'm not familiar with that. So I often say that one of the things about costume choice is how many people are going to recognize the costume.
Exactly.
Right.
Except I go to these, we just went to this RyuCon, which was cosplay was one of the main things at it, and I didn't recognize most of the costumes that I saw there. They're all from video games I haven't played and anime series that I haven't.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. Gracie, most of I would say maybe an eighth of the costumes, and she has shit tons of costumes, are from not even anime. It's from a YouTube video, and it's like these cartoons that you see like a static shot of a cartoon, and it has like a story on the bottom that you have to read. And all the kids, I wish I could remember the name of it right now. I'm failing because I can't remember. But that's most of what she has. So it's like some obscure thing. So, and that's why for WindyCon, I wanted to go as Dog Welder. Have you ever seen Dog?
Yeah.
That's awesome because it's anybody that gets the reference will be like,
love
oh
it.
my God, you know?
Exactly. I know. I can just picture. I buy a bunch. I go to the dollar store, get a bunch of puppy
dogs.
stuffed dogs, and put them on my belt, hanging up from my belt, and
Yeah,
have
you
one.
have to
And
get
it's super
a lot
easy
of
to
different
do.
size ones. You know what I mean?
You think
And
difference?
that's an excellent example of a project where if you knew ahead of time you were going to do that, you could get on eBay and buy or Rhode Island Novelty and buy like stuffed animals for $7 each or whatever.
Right.
You could do that project really cheaply if you knew a month ahead of time you were going to do it and got your ordering done and got all your stuff in so that you could make it out of stuff that you order cheaply on the internet.
I know. Now we're
But
2
that's
weeks
not
away.
how we make costumes.
I know.
No. It's like I've got the party tomorrow night.
What do I have?
Throw something together.
Yeah. What do I have in my pantry?
Yeah,
So,
or what can I buy for way too much money at the store?
Right.
That's
Right.
what it always winds up being.
well,
Go
ahead.
That wig. If I had ordered that wig on through the internet, I would have gotten it for $8.99.
Oh wow.
Free
But you
shipping on
paid
Amazon
20?
Prime. But I paid $20 for it because I got it at the Spirit store. The robe, I actually think the robe might have been $30. And again, it's not that expensive an item if you aren't buying it on the day of at a store.
Right.
I think that's what it is. Like if you start with a store-bought costume, and it's what you accessorize to it to change it to make it more towards what you want.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
all the accessorizing and customizing of the base model, basically. So it's like a tuner car. You buy the base model, and then you put the mods on it that you want to make it look the way you want it to look. That's what I think.
I gotta show you what I'm gonna bring to WindyCon. Hold on. Right, guys, keep talking.
Don't tell me you're getting naked, dude. No one wants to see that shit. I think, like you said, you buy the base costume because you like something about it, and now that's something I can build off of.
Yeah, totally.
It has to go that way. Because, like you said, I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to source the fabric. I'm not going to sew it, cut the pattern, put it together. Fuck that. It's too much time.
Exactly. And, like a lot of costumes. Okay, and it's depending on what the costume is you want. So last year, Joanne wanted to be Princess Leia. I did my costume last year for Halloween and for the Star Wars premiere was it was called The Empire Strikes Piggyback. It's Luke Skywalker riding on Yoda's shoulder.
Dude,
that was Yoda rode on.
That was fucking amazing, dude.
Made the costume where they have like either their little kid, their little like baby is in the back as Yoda.
Yeah, but
or
Yoda's
have, like,
carrying him. It's freaking.
But mine has like fake legs. I did the Bespin Luke Skywalker outfit. Found a good wig for it. Okay, wig. And but then I like stuffed the legs, like made artificial legs that go over Yoda's shoulders. So there's like a fake Yoda head between my legs.
Oh,
right.
dude.
And I waddle around with that. It's pretty.
So
funny.
it looks like this giant guy riding on top of this tiny Yoda. Dude, it's freaking. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's one of my favorites.
So
check it out.
Good. It's a fairly convincing illusion. When people see it, it takes them a minute to figure out what's going on because they think that I'm being carried by a midget, by a short person
And
in
sometimes,
a Yoda costume.
and sometimes you are.
You got you got the mask too?
So I got.
Yeah. The Yoda head is a
nice.
really expensive Yoda mask that I bought, and I actually. I spent a lot of time figuring out animatronics for the mask so that the head can turn, like there's little wires where you can pull it from the side and you can make the head turn from side to side. And I even have a little thing that you push, that you pull, and it pulls his nose in and it makes his face go.
Oh, dude.
And so
freaking
I
people
can make
out.
him, like look at people like, the deal is that I like, I'm like, you Luke Skywalker, and I'm all happy, like riding on.
Yeah,
Yoda.
he's being
and
carried.
When the people look down at Yoda, I have him look over at him and go, Unfortunately, the animatronics like this, I don't know. I guess I don't know how to build those yet because I thought I had chosen the right materials to make the strings out of because they can't stretch at all, or else they don't work. But they also can't break, which is what happened to them. And the strings are broken. Like I have to take it all back apart to. But you know what?
You can do it without it, though. I mean,
instead I'm gonna go mop up my parents' basement.
And costume. Go,
In costume.
go as an
In
ogre.
costume, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
What were you
Yeah.
What were you using for string? Like actual string or?
No, I bought some cord that's I had looked up online, like, what do you use for puppeteering cord? And they use like, I wouldn't be able to tell you the name of what it is, but it's like, the first thing I bought was parachute cord, and that wasn't right.
Right.
It's because it's got too much stretch to it. You can't, it's got to be, this stuff has like no give to it at all. It's like,
There's this stuff called spider wire. It's for fishing. It's a fishing line.
Okay.
And they also had lead cord line for fly fishing. So it's beefy, it's heavy, and it doesn't give, it doesn't stretch because it's fishing line. It's a lead cord, it's a lead that you put on your line.
Right.
Suggest using that, trying that out and see what it does.
Yeah, maybe I will. And it seems like it would move real fluidly through the
Right.
thing. You know what I mean?
Right, it has to, yeah.
It's got,
And if you do use fishing line, get the higher pound test.
well, yeah,
It's 5 pound test, 8
It
pound.
actually
10.
takes a surprisingly amount. I've got a little. I mounted the head on a PVC joint that turns like this.
Uh-huh.
But really, there's not enough leverage in the way you pull it. It takes quite a bit of, you really got to kind of horse it, and that's why it broke.
Wow.
But that's the thing about costuming. You're always you're always
Improving.
repairing your costumes. We decided not to make any new costumes for this big our first when we first found out about WindyCon, which was like almost 2 years ago. We had planned, we were going to build some crazy ass costumes and do all this and that. And we just realized we have our work cut out just to get all the costumes we currently have working properly.
Just to
Wow.
just to play for an hour. It I'm overwhelmed.
Just 1 hour.
Just with the 2 concerts we have. I can imagine how to do. Oh man, it's gonna be a blast.
Well,
though.
but remember, we're the Nerd Circus is performing while Ookla is performing.
I know.
But we're also doing 2 seminars where we speak, and 1 hands-on workshop where we make a brown bag Frankenstein. Like you come in
cool.
and we provide you with stuff, and you make a brown bag Frankenstein head, which is you can it doesn't have to be a Frankenstein, it can be anything, but.
Wow.
But so I'm going to be
Fun for all.
That's cool,
yeah,
man.
it should be a good time.
That's awesome, man. It's good. I'm telling you, it's impressive, and I've always loved the creativity you have to come up with those costumes and just to do them the way you do it. It's very impressive, man. I've always loved that about you.
Well, it's neat that people are impressed by it, but it's funny how it's kind of we used to talk about this when you and I worked worked with
Out the road.
adults, and people would always say to you when they hear that you work in that industry, they're like, oh, it takes a special kind of person to do that work. And I suppose that's true, but if you're that kind of person, then it is nothing to, there's nothing to
Right.
it. I mean, it doesn't take anything to do. It's not hard work.
Well, actually, I disagree in that it is true, but like you said, because we are that type of person, to us it's like, no, we just had a job and we did it. So to us, it doesn't seem like that big a thing, right? But I can
Right.
tell you right now, my wife or people that I know couldn't do what we do. Listen, one day I had to work. It was a weekend, so I had to work 7 to 3. So you always overlap with the people that worked overnight. And
Right.
there's this girl, Denise, that she was working the overnight, and I get to the house and usually talk about what the clients had done. It's like, oh, that client needs to still take a shower, or that client hasn't had breakfast yet. Blah blah blah. You kind of get together and plan, help you plan the day. She looks at me and she goes, you have Molly, bye. And she runs out the door. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I knew I had, hair in the back of my neck stands because that was not
I remember
right.
this night. I
Good.
remember this night.
And I walk, I'm like, okay. So I'm like, actually, I knew something was horribly wrong. So I went and got, so I went and got coffee. So I'm having my coffee, and I'm like, I'm just working my way to get up there, dude. Put my coffee down, walk down the hallway, open the door, and this girl has her legs around her fucking ears, and she's got her hand in her anus, and there's fecal matter all over the walls, all over the bed, everywhere. And I just open the door, close it again, take a deep breath, dude. Oh yeah, and
Fuck
Okay, well,
that.
sometimes it's hard. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
well, and,
like nobody likes doing that. But again, like, you know, I just say that, you know, you're whatever. There's two things. There's skill and ability, or I should say skill and talent. You know what I mean? And like
Right.
talent is something you're born with, and if
Right.
like it's like, you know, okay, you know, I get this all the time with when I, because I draw caricatures for a living. So I'll be drawing people who they always want to talk about it, and so they'll say, you know, like, so hey, you know, did you go to school for this, or are you just naturally talented? And I always think, well, going to school for art would be a very poor decision if you weren't talented in it. You know, like,
Right.
They really think if you aren't talented in art, you can just go learn it in school,
Yeah.
and that's
like it's not
that's not how it
math.
works. You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Not
even
science.
math, like
In
I'd
math,
say,
you have to have
know,
a head for
you know,
math.
you kind of have to be built for it. You know, you have
Right.
to have the right kind of brain. And there's going to be people that, like, I can learn to do simple math in the same way that other people could learn to draw a simple cartoon, but they're never going to excel at it because they're just not wired that way. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like with costuming, you're saying, you know, like appreciating the talent or whatever. And like, okay, Lyle, who makes the costumes with me, does not have the ability to, like, you know, I can think, okay, like, here's what I want to make. I want to make a fly costume. He's got these two big eyes. So what could I make it out of, you know? And then I start thinking about it. I'm like, oh, you know, they got those bouncy balls. Like, I'm looking at pictures of fly eyes, and they got like those little, you know, like little stalks all over them, and like they kind of look like those bouncy balls that you get you know, with the little nubs on them that you can
Right.
get for $1. And so, like, you know, then a couple days later, we've got a framework built to use two of those to make the eyes for a fly costume.
That's one of
And
the things
the
that I was
ability
impressed
to,
by.
like, think
the
of
eyes.
what you could make something out of it's just something you can do or you can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
That's-
then there's Lyle who, you know, I'll think of how to do that all day long and never do anything about it. But Lyle is the guy who's like, you know,
Let's go get it.
what's the first step for making this, you know? And I'm like, well, we can start with those balls. And the next day he shows up with two of those balls. Oh, I got these. Now what else would we need to make this? And, you know, every night I say what we would need, and the next night he shows up with that, and then I start making it, you know? So Lyle's like the follow through, you know?
It's funny. This person, Lyle Chad, we
Right.
met him. Adam and I worked at this home. We talked about the last podcast that we did that got ruined. We had at this job used to have to take classes, and one was it was called Skip, and it teaches you how to not get your ass kicked by people with developmental disabilities that, you know, start behaving, you know, aggressively, and it
Right.
just teaches you how to not
Which
hurt
we had
them.
a ton of at that house. They
Oh,
were like,
absolutely.
you know, there were like 12 people. How many people lived in the house?
12.
Or
It was 12 exactly.
Yeah, and like and like 8 of them would like kick your ass if they got the chance.
Yep.
You
And
know?
oh
The
yeah.
other 4 were in wheelchairs.
Yeah. Well, and some of them wearing wheelchairs and will kick your ass.
And yeah, totally, Molly.
We'll run your foot over.
Yeah, so in one of these classes, Adam and I were already friendly at the time. So Adam and I went, and Adam had told me, he's like, "Oh, I gotta do this class, and then tomorrow I have to drive to freaking Ohio," but so he's all stressed out about that. And we go to this class, and there's Lyle, and we meet Lyle, and we're like, "Wow, you're like a freaking nerd like us. This is freaking cool."
You smell one of your own.
And Adam was like, "You want to go to Ohio with me?" And
Actually, I decided to give him to ask him an impossible trivia question, and if he knew the answer, I would invite him.
really,
to
well,
Ohio.
please do tell.
And I asked him. He could still tell you what it was, and he could still answer too. I said, "Who played the Werewolf of London?"
I don't know.
Are you
Who
asking us?
played the Werewolf of London? And he
Is it
immediately said Henry Hull. And I said, "You want to go to Ohio this weekend?" He was like, "Sure."
I got nothing better to do.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's been our friend ever since. It was
Yep.
That was really, really cool. God, I miss him. I miss him.
Lyle's the greatest.
Yeah. He has
He's
the best rendition of Nine Inch Nails. What is that? It's not Hurt. What is that called? I want to feel like an animal.
Yeah,
What is that called?
The name of the song is
Closer.
Closer.
It's
Yeah.
closer, dude. And I went through all my videos that I have on my my hard drive, and I found that video of when I went to Buffalo the one time. I went to your friend's house, and we went on the boat and we did karaoke.
Right.
Dude, still to this day, Chad, we would go to a bar, get drunk, and do whatever it took to get into the perfect state of mind to then go, please, Lyle, we're ready. Could you please go sing Closer? And it would, I'm telling you, it is the funniest, greatest thing you ever seen because it's
Is
so
he a
bad.
shit singer?
Oh,
Lyle, he sings a lot of karaoke. He and his wife, his wife, she has an amazing
she's got an amazing voice. She's awesome.
Lyle also sings a lot of karaoke. And,
Not very
man,
well.
He just goes
No,
for it,
it's-
you know, man. He he gets up there. He's got his standards. He likes to do, "Hey there, little Miss Riding Hood." You know, and he goes, "Oh, oh." Well, and Lyle has Closer is quite funny because Lyle has a very pronounced speech impediment.
Oh shit.
She's like a lisp.
Yeah, well, Lyle is he is like a superpower, and he's
Seriously, man.
textbook Asperger's, and it's not. I don't think of it as like a disability for him. It's like his superpowers.
Right.
I mean, he can do lots of stuff that mere mortals can't do, like really stink up a karaoke room and totally not care.
So you basically just rickrolled the whole bar.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's something to see. Well, it's kind of like, I've known Lyle for many, many years, and he actually used to do really shockingly well with women because that dude would go into a bar and ask out every girl
Not caring.
in the bar.
That guy
And
fucks.
he used to, they'd all be like,
Silicon Valley.
He'd be like,
Yeah, that
"Okay,"
guy fucks.
and just move on to the next one. Does
That's
not
Lyle.
care.
Yeah, that's freaking Lyle, dude.
Say, but yeah, he says, you get me closer to God.
No, oh my God. I got no soul to.
I got no
Sail!
show to show.
Well, see, like he stops. Sail. And it is. Oh my God, dude! It is fucking
He did
brilliant,
the Richard Cheese version.
dude. And I beg him and his wife. I that night, the whole time I was like, Lyle, we're gonna do the song, right? Closer. We're gonna
Which
do
is
Closer?
funny because his wife has made him promise like over and over again that he
That's-
won't sing that song anymore because
I know,
it's just a
but
horrifying
and he's like, honey, I have to. Okay.
Something I have to do.
And dude, I will beg him.
Have to.
Please let him do it. Please let him do it. I freaking all night long. I'm telling Alisa, God, you gotta fucking listen to this. This is just great. It's worth it. I love it. And like I said, I have it on video.
I wish I had a video of. I once heard Lyle sing "New York, New York" as a duet with Captain Sal Monaco. Remember him?
No.
Do you remember him? Barefoot dude, always at he came up to us at like some convention and was like talking super loud during the filk about booking us at some other show, and everybody hated us. We were brand new, so we didn't know how to tell him that was rude.
Oh
And
my God.
everybody like hated us because they thought we were the rude, loud talkers in the room.
Oh my God.
You remember Sal? He's a character. But the two of them did New York, New York. And,
That was pretty remarkable.
It was something to behold. Super drunk New York.
Oh
New
my
York.
God. So
Even better.
my favorite Lyle story is like we had a gig in Broadway Joe's, this little bar, and it was one of the first gigs we had.
It
Please tell
was
him.
the first gig,
It was
and it was the
right-
night that Rand, or it was the second time Rand had met Lyle. The
Oh,
first being when I brought Lyle out to Ohio. And
That's right,
Here's
that's
Lyle.
true,
He's
too.
staying on your couch.
I just met him yesterday.
I needed a road trip buddy,
And
so I
he
picked this
never,
guy up at
ever,
the gas
ever,
station.
ever shuts up.
Please tell him the story. You tell it best.
Well, he's.
I can't remember what
I'll
he was
say-
talking
I'll-
about.
I'll preface this by saying Lyle has, he has come a long way. He's, he's much better socialized now than he was when I first met him. But we're getting ready to play our very first gig at an open mic. We've never been on stage and played as a band before. We don't know what the fuck we're doing,
Dude,
and
we're
we're quite
shitting our
nervous,
pants.
and the last band has finished their song, finished their last song or whatever, and they're clearing their stuff up. So we're getting ready to jump up on stage and set up our instruments. And Lyle starts telling his idea for a science fiction novel then. Like, he doesn't get it. Like, I'm like, we're kind of like hopping with excitement because we, we're, trying to get up on stage and do this thing. And Lyle's like, oh, so anyway, I wanted to tell you about this science fiction story that I was thinking about writing. It concerns a scientist who's experimenting with time travel. And when he's in graduate school, everyone makes fun of him because they say that he'll never be able to invent time travel. And they say, if you do invent time travel, why don't you come back in time and tell everybody that you do it?
Ookla the Mok, you're next.
Right. And so we're like, and he's like, so anyway, he does go on to create time travel, and he decides that he will go back in time to, meet himself when he's a young man in graduate school. And I'm like, Lyle, I'm sorry, man. We're about to go on stage here. Could you hold this until a little later? And he was like, oh, sure. He can't hurt his feelings. He's like, oh, sure. So we go up on stage, ding monkey, science fiction bullshit, Star Trek, and everybody's like, you suck. And then we get off, we're like, woo,
That's awesome.
And I step down off the stage, and I'm like taking my guitar strap off, and he's like, so anyway, he meets himself as a younger person.
Didn't even miss a beat.
It turns out it's so annoying that he gets into a fight and accidentally kills his younger self. And it creates a paradox.
Oh my gosh, dude!
So he basically just put that whole conversation literally on pause.
Yeah. He's like,
Yep,
oh, of course.
that
Hold
is
on.
Lyle. And
I love him, dude.
He will put a conversation on pause until
2 days,
a month from now, if that's the next time he sees you.
So anyway,
he doesn't forget. Some people, I've learned to use my phone now to remind me of things later. You can use Lyle just like that.
Oh,
hey, Lyle,
God,
remind me at 1:40 this afternoon that I have to do, whatever.
Done.
Oh, okay, and he will do it.
He's the greatest. He's great. I hope you don't get that we're making fun of him.
I'm
It's just that I love him.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's my right hand man. I mean, he's my Rand is my hetero life mate, but Lyle's my trusty sidekick. I see Rand once a week for band practice. I see Lyle comes over to my house like 4 nights a week.
No.
So
And he was like almost, I would say, just about every gig we ever had. Lyle was there, and he's very supportive. Yeah, very supportive, dude. Adam will go. He's like, wow, I need somebody to put this super tight Aquaman costume. If I could find somebody, and
I'll do it. Lyle met his wife while dressed as Aquaman.
Yeah.
Dancing around to our song Arthur Curry.
Yeah.
She went for a woman. She went for a man in uniform.
Yeah. You gotta love it, man.
Here's a Lyle story I love to tell. It's people. People talk about Asperger's a lot now, and I actually had first heard of Asperger's because my mom, she's a clinical nurse specialist specializing in pediatric developmental disabilities. Asperger's has been around forever, and she knew about Asperger's. And when she actually diagnosed Lyle as having Asperger's from my description of Lyle over the telephone, like she hadn't met him yet. And then years later, Lyle did receive a formal diagnosis of, but it's a perceptual disorder. It affects how you perceive things, right, and things that you do and don't notice. Like I noticed very early on that with Lyle, you can't say, if I've got a bunch of crap on the table, you can't say, hey, Lyle, could you hand me the scissors? Because Lyle he can't just look at the table and look for the scissors. He has to look at each thing on the table to see if it is scissors. And so he has to go through them all so it takes him a long time to find that. So one time he says to me, I saw a new cartoon that I shot might interest you. And there are 3 main characters, and one of the characters he has a goatee and dreadlocks, and he's always angry. And then there's another character who has buck teeth, and he's very stupid. And it's just very silly, but I thought you might appreciate it. And I eventually figured out that what he was talking about was Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And what Lyle, when he was describing it, had failed to notice was that this character he was describing to me, the characters he was describing to me, are a box of French fries,
and a
meatball,
pizza,
and
yeah.
a milkshake.
Right.
But he didn't notice that. He noticed their facial expressions. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Like, Lyle had started dating this new woman one time, and I heard a lot about her, and I knew, he'd been dating her for a few months, and I knew a lot of details about her, like, her likes and dislikes, and movies they had seen together, and her background, because Lyle talked about her a bunch. And then I met her, and sister was 450 pounds. Like, and but you know how, like, some women are, like, they're overweight, but they're still attractive.
Right.
Not this one.
No.
No. I mean, she was, like, if she lost all the weight, it wouldn't even have been worth it. But Lyle doesn't notice a detail like that. You know what I mean? He sees, like I say, he was more interested in what television programs she liked and so forth,
Yeah, she likes Star Trek. She's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine an overweight Star Trek fan.
Yeah,
Oh,
never seen
never.
one.
Especially the one with the skirt.
Yeah.
Hey, God bless overweight Star Trek fans.
Yeah. Hey.
Ookla the Mok would have given it up after 2 weeks. Not been.
How many of them do you think
Star Trek people
have Klingon tattoos?
Yeah, totally.
So there you go.
So, have you given any thought to my idea that you should get a dark mark tattoo?
A dark mark tattoo? What is that?
Yeah, from Harry Potter, like all the Death Eaters on their left forearm, the inside of their left forearm.
Oh, right.
It's like a snake coming out of a skull's mouth, but it's a particular design. And there's a couple different versions of it. But that would be, I would get one myself, but my wife won't let me. She hates Death Eaters. Well, we went out the other night. We went out to that Harry Potter thing the other night, and my friend Chris. Now, Chris and Megan showed up. That's some friends of mine that are real into costuming, but they're not. They're not as far down the nerd rabbit hole as a lot of my other friends are. For example, they are not familiar with Harry Potter, but they were going to this, so they watched the first two movies on Netflix.
They're mundane people, yeah.
Right, well, they're not. That would be unfair to call them mundane, but they're not as they don't know Harry Potter anyway. Let me leave it at that. But so they picked their costumes, and she's Asian, so she wanted to be Cho Chang, and he had decided he wanted to be Snape. And I felt, I heard that this was a Harry Potter themed rave event, and that there were 8,000 people expected to be in attendance. And I kind of I didn't want to say anything, but I was kind of there's gonna be like a million Snapes there. But whatever, it'll be fun, and they're just throwing their costumes together anyway. And of course, I went crazy and made this Lucius Malfoy, and he did Snape. But it turns out, the reason that they picked those costumes is because she's Asian and she kind of looks like Cho Chang, and because he's got a big old nose and he looks just like freaking Snape when you put that wig on him. He showed up and I was just like, holy shit! His costume was the best of all 5 of us.
Wow!
And he had done it that
Nailed
afternoon. It was just the right costume for him. He's got a great big nose, and he put on that long dark kind of mullety wig sort of thing, and it was glorious.
Wow!
He found the right robes and made a his shirt was just, he took a dress shirt and put the collar up and then did a turtleneck over the top of it, so that it was very thrown together. He found a cool sweater with buttons down the front at the home or at Amvets or whatever, and it was a great costume. And that, I think, why we won the costume contest that night was we all had picked good people that we looked just like them. Joanne looks, she Joanne is obviously a lot younger than McGonagall, but she's got she can inhabit that look. And
right.
I made a very good Lucius Malfoy, if I do say so myself. And Lyle he's just got the right shape for Hagrid. He's barrel chested and
it was great.
Yeah. And then and then a spot on Snape and a spot on what's crazy is the Cho Chang. People were recognizing her left and right, and she did a dress shirt with like a tie that wasn't even exactly the right colors.
See, yeah, they're just because it's the only.
Yeah, well, like at a Harry Potter at a con, people would kind of wrinkle their nose if you didn't have like you got to buy, especially since I went on the day after the party this morning. I went online and I ordered her that tie for I think I paid $3.85 for it.
Damn.
Free shipping on Amazon Prime. So that in 2 days I'll have that and I'll give it to her. I'm also thinking about ordering them wands, so they'll have the correct wands for those costumes because they're killer costumes.
Sure.
But she needs Hogwarts robes, and she didn't have them, But she did this thing where Cho Chang has bangs and Megan doesn't. So she did some crazy thing with her hair that she had to point out because I didn't even notice it, where she pulled her hair up from the back and made fake bangs. But I didn't even. She looked exactly like Cho Chang.
Come over.
A girl come over. Yeah. That's awesome. Well,
I gotta say, they brought it with their costumes.
Oh, that's great.
If they had picked one winner, they were gonna pick. The thing about the party was there were 8,000 people there, but there were probably, I would say, there were less than 100 Harry Potter costumes there.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, there were two different Buster and Crabs. One pretty good and one really shruggy, but just the decision to go as Buster and Crab is cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we saw, what was really cool is there were 4 different Dobbies there.
Really?
3 girls and 1 guy all dressed up as Dobby. And of course, the character I was dressed as, Lucius Malfoy, owns Dobby. So every time I saw somebody dressed as Dobby, I would, with my huge thundering voice, I'd say, Dobby! Where have you been, you insolent elf? Go get me a drink, double bourbon on the rocks. And you know what happened each time I did that? All 4 times I did that.
You got a
reached
drink?
Down and pulled up their sock and held it up and said, Dobby is a free elf.
Oh my God.
Because all 4 of them. And then each time I'd be like, damn it, one of these Dobbies isn't going to have a sock.
Yeah, it would be from...
So I'm going to be drinking free all night.
It'll be from the right timeline, instead of a later. Oh, it's great. All right.
Yeah, well, Joanne was saying, well, you don't own Dobby anymore. And I'm like, well, think about it. He's Snape, and Snape is dead. It's obviously not from that timeline. Right.
Awesome. Well, listen, we did a little over an hour. We did pretty good. I'm hoping that this comes out, and I hope we do it again. And we
better, man.
Yeah,
better work.
Another hour, and it just went really quick, and we didn't even talk about any of the stuff that we talked about last time, which I really want to. Yeah. Next time we have you on, I'd like to talk more about Ookla and stuff, and like we did before, and our origins and Phil and all that other stuff. And but I'm really happy, and thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, it was fun. You guys have a great day.
All right, thank you, John.
Bye.
This one is for all the geeks with bleak physiques and we go bleaks. This one is for all the freaks with a unique reek to meet the speak. This one's for you!
If you know how many settings there are on a phaser, if you've paid more than $100 for a toy lightsaber, if you kinda thought that Farscape was cool, if you haven't played a sport since the day you got out of high school, then you've come to the right place. If you've lost friends over arguments about Green Lantern, if you really thought Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, if you pretend every phone booth's a TARDIS, and you know which is the correct edition of Army of Darkness, then you've come to the right place. I think you've come to the right place. Welcome to the con, welcome to the con. Klingons, Dorsai, furry elves, get down with your nerdy selves. You've set Mark Hamill your fan script for Star Wars 7, or you own the special edition Laserdisc Lane of Heaven. If you're living in your parents' garage, and your 4 cats are named Taylor, Nova, Landon, and Dodge, then you've come to the right place. If you gaffer taped your man boobs in an attempt to flatten them, if you've tried to pay your cell phone bill with gold press platinum, if you care which Doctor Who was the best, or you tried to hide that you cried when that guy died on Galaxy Quest, then you've come to the right place. Look around, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the con, welcome to the con. All the troops in stormtrooper suits say, come on, shake your nerdy booty. Nerds!
Brothers and sisters, nerds, geeks, dorks, dweebs, I'm talking to you. If you've ever seen the inside of a locker or the bottom of a toilet, if you know the Klingon word for virgin, if you brought your Starfleet uniform and your Jedi robes, because Star Wars is more of an evening thing, if you came to the con this weekend to rock out with your Spock out, then it's time for you to stand with me and say, I will not be ashamed. I will not settle down. I will not act my age. I will not stop summarizing the plot of X Factor 87 just because we've arrived at the restaurant and the waitress would like to know our drink order. I will sit in a dank room playing Settlers of Catan until my nerd funk assails the very nostrils of God himself, and I will let my beard grow until it curls up and consumes my face like a Lovecraftian tentacle creature. Then I will sit in the con suite devouring Cheetos in the Stygian darkness like a Lovecraftian tentacle creature. It is time for us to don the best of many buttons and rise as one. Heave your sweaty frame into an upright position and totter, my large friends, lurch and waddle with me out into the blinding light of day. Let us show the monkey muggles that now is our time, the time for nerds. Verily I say unto thee, blessed are the geeks, for the geeks shall inherit the earth of the world. Stand up.
Come on, all you nerds and geeks, get off your fat seat and get up on your flat feet. Nerds of the world, stand up.
Come on now, you herd of freaks. Everybody better listen to the words I speak. Geeks, dorks, dweebs, freaks and nerds, march together and take up the standard.
It's time to make up your mind. Will you join the cause or get left behind?
It's nature of providence, it's evolution. So come on and join the nerd revolution.
At the con, we got our Spockers on. Welcome everybody here, welcome to the con.
Welcome trekkers and filkers and gamers and
And our
con.
family dresses Obi-Wan and Han and Tauntaun.
Welcome big fat black guy dressed as Qui-Gon.
Holy crap, that is one alarmingly realistic
All you
slide.
brown coats, gather round, yo. We got a mission and a vision, so let's form a coalition.
Doggies on the left, Strike Galactus on the right. Ruby and Buffy fans, join us in the fight.
Cause we peruse the news and it's choose to refuse.
Nerds.
We pay our dues and we are not amused. It's time we refuse to diffuse your abuse.
Yeah.
Cause we refuse to choose to lose.
We'll schmooze, Jason Mewes and Doctor Who shoes. Overused, booze and underused shampoos. And use our gently used Spider-Man underoos to hide our blues, clues, and secret of the used tattoos. Nerd! Nerd off!
Nerd to your